Hey you guys, it's me, and today I want to just kind of share my thoughts on when I first really discovered personal branding, or one of the many times I discovered personal branding. And excuse me, guys, if you hear some noise out there. I'm like, where I'm filming today is like right by a window, and the kids just got out of school. So I was sitting down writing some of the Brand You Like a Boss book, and like reality kind of hit me, like how I used to think. So I had like a reflection of my old thought processes, if you will. So I can remember when I was growing up, and I remember when my mom and dad first put BET, well, we first got cable, because I want to say we didn't have cable for a long time, but I remember when we first got BET, and like that's like when I really started to like follow celebrities. Like I think Bow Wow had just came out or something like that. But for the first time, I started to see a separation between ordinary people like us and celebrities. So I'm like, okay, I started wondering then. So my curiosity about celebrity and like people who are in the limelight, like how are they so different from us? I know they have more money, but how are they so different from us? And I was maybe like 12 or 13 when I started to really pay attention to this kind of stuff. I mean, obviously now we know what it's called, but I never like realized that we all have the same potential. And when I say potential, I don't mean to be a celebrity, but I mean to have power and influence that will literally change and shift our entire lives. And so I just remember like, starting to watch BT and like the red carpets and things like that. And I'd always like walk around the house and pretend that people were interviewing me, and like I just always pretend. And I didn't realize then what I was doing was called visualization, but I always knew that I wanted some type of influence. I always knew that I wanted to influence on a whole nother level than what I was used to seeing right in like my immediate circle, like amongst my family and like the people that I just knew as successful. I wanted more than that. But what I also knew but couldn't quite understand or really express at the time was that I knew I wasn't supposed to do it the way that was normal. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I knew that my success was never going to look like anybody else's that I knew personally. But I couldn't express it. I didn't know what it was, how to go about it. So, I went through high school, college, and I think when I made the decision to pursue fashion styling years ago, that was like my first way of expressing the new normal for me. The new normal, or the new way of success for me, because everybody that I knew, they were graduating college and having babies and buying houses and getting married, and I knew I would like to have that, but I always knew that it was so much more for me to do. Not saying that people that chose that route are any less significant or influential, but I always knew that wasn't for me. But because I didn't have like someone that I knew that was like in arm's reach that had done anything that I desired to do, it was really challenging for me to figure out a way to make it happen. So as I was writing a little while ago, something came like to me really clear, and I just had to share it with you guys. So do you remember when reality TV first surfaced? So, and I was never like really big on reality TV before now, but like as far back as I can remember, it kind of started with what was this show? I think it came on ABC, and it was like Survivor, and then they had like the Bad Girls Club, like when it first came out, and then like the I Love New York and the Flavor Flaves. Like that's when like reality TV like first started to surface, right? Before that, nobody had heard of it. It was new, right? So now it's normal because we've got Love and Hip Hop, we've got Basketball Wives, we've got I mean, every type of reality show, like people becoming obsessed with other people's lives, people who weren't doctors or actresses or singers or anything like that. Like, not the normal reason why most people become celebrities or become like leaders and influencers and make millions of dollars, right? Like, when we grew up, or when I grew up, you know, the only people that became celebrities, or the only people that had like power and influence, they were into sports. So they were athletes, they were singers, like doctors, running for city council, like whatever. Like those are like the normal um, ways of becoming influential or building a brand. Like that was normal. Now we reality TV proves that you can create your own new normal. And when I first realized it was when I stepped into the fashion industry. And although I didn't stay there, I thank God for that experience because it showed me that I can become influential for whatever the heck I wanted to come influential for. That is why I'm so passionate about personal branding, because it allows you to be who you want to be and create, or it allows you to be who you want to be and allow that thing to become the new normal. But it's only going to happen with consistency. And so you can look at like the Ming Lees and the Karen Civils and like all of the people, like the YouTube stars, people who literally have created new normals and they're winning. That's like the power of tapping into developing, cultivating, expanding, whatever you want to call it, your brand, your personal brand. I'm not even talking about right now branding a business, because when people know, love, and trust you, they'll buy anything from you, right? It's like building a relationship. And so I just think it's quite amazing that when reality TV first came out, it was not normal. And after we consistently watched it and entertained the thought of following strangers' lives and literally becoming obsessed with it, it's now become the new normal. That is exactly what has to happen individually for us. Each of us has the power to create that influence that we want. And you don't have to be a doctor, a nurse, you don't have to be a singer or an athlete in order to gain that type of influence. But as with anything branding, it has to be consistent. You have to consistently show people why they should care about who you are, what your story is, or how you can help them. And so for me personally, I've prided myself in building a brand that shows people that you can literally do whatever you want to do. You can come from struggle. You can do it through struggle, because a lot of the things that you guys have seen me accomplish, from going and being invited by the White House to the Empire to like even now writing this book, I've done it all through strictly struggle. Like nothing was ever easy. And I know it sounds like a cliche story, but I am so adamant and so hungry to show you that you can be known for whatever you want to be known for. And it doesn't have to be something normal. Create your own new normal. Create a new wave and be consistent enough to where people will follow along with you. It's the reason why we love Beyonce. It's the reason why people follow Kim Kardashian. And it's the reason why we love and are obsessed with Oprah. Even President, well, he's not president anymore, but Barack Obama and Michelle, they've exemplified the power of a personal brand, because although they're not still in the White House, just their personality and obviously strategy and just being who they are authentically has set them up for a lifetime. And I think sometimes as ordinary people, a lot of times we see ourselves as down here and everybody else up here. But the truth is, with hard work, consistency, and setting the new normal for your own self, you too can have the power and influence that you so desire, because it's possible. But you have to be consistent. And you can't try to fit into a mold. I remember when I was growing up and watching BET and seeing celebrities, and I was like, I always want to, I want to be in that circle and sit with the big dogs and be in a place of power and influence. But how do I do it without being able to fit into the mold of being a singer or an actress or a doctor or an athlete or whatever the case may be, the normal then, or the normal for whatever reason? I knew I couldn't be an athlete. For crying out loud, I failed PE more than once. I knew that wasn't the case. I knew I couldn't be a singer. I mean, I sang in a church choir growing up, but outside of that, like, I knew that wasn't going to be my calling either. So now, to be doing what I'm doing now is me creating my new normal. And when you create your own new normal, people conform to your new normal. And not in a way to where you're up here and you're down here, but it exemplifies that you know your power and that you're exercising your power and leveraging that power. And so create your own new normal. People will conform to your own new normal. And that is like a major key in life, in business, in the workplace, whatever you want to, wherever you are. It's important to create your own new normal. People will conform to it. We conform to it every day with the reality TV, the music. I'll use Kendrick Lamar, for example. I mean, he's always been dope to me, but let's just say he put out his first album and nobody really listened to it. But he didn't want to fit into anybody else's mold. Now he just put out his album Damn, and we love it. He's created his own new normal. And with consistency, we have now conformed to that new normal. That's what personal branding is, and that's what you can do. These are just all examples of what you can do if you tap into your own personal brand. Nobody else's. Nobody else's. Nobody else's. You've got to tap into your own and not try to fit into a mold that's already been molded. Like, the beautiful thing about life is that we've all got individual identities. And whatever you've experienced, whatever your life looks like now, believe it or not, that is the canvas for the life in which you are responsible for creating for yourself. And so pay attention to the ones who've created their own new normal. Follow my journey. I'm creating my own new normal. I've created my own new normal. And although it doesn't mirror what the people before me or the people I grew up with or my family, what they've deemed as successful, as long as I know that I'm creating my own lane, I am more powerful than I've ever felt. I feel more powerful than I've ever felt. Power to change the world, power to know that everything that I say, every action that I take is impacting somebody else's life. That's power. And you've got to tap into the brand of you in order to get that power. It's possible for you, but you've got to do what you've got to do to make it happen. So you guys, make sure you grab the Brand You Like a Boss book. June 21st, it'll be everywhere. It's now available for pre-order at brandyouLikeAboss.com/pre-order. There are tons of bonuses on there as well, and I will continue to share like my personal stories with you because it's important. It's important for me to tell you guys some of what I've experienced and how I've gotten to this place to be able to really look back and say, wow, I'm glad that I made that move. I'm glad that I'm creating my own new normal, because that is how you truly get your power. That's how you truly change the world. Biggie Smalls said, we cannot change the world until we change ourselves. He was talking about branding, personal branding, stepping into the brands of you. That's what he meant. You can't truly change the world until you acknowledge that you are the bomb and that everybody else needs to think that you're the bomb too. Well, at least the majority of people, the people who you can help. And so I encourage you guys to really pay attention. Pay attention to who you are, leverage who you are, because that's what is going to change the world.